What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome to PowerPrints Development Blog. I'm Rob Duenas, aka Sketchcraft. Hey, what's up? And I am here to talk about PowerPrints because I get emails about what's taking so freaking long. So now I have to like explain myself. And here to help me explain the nonsense is Brandon Megapotatoes. James, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Say hello to the tasty taters.
Yay, hello.
Let me get my actual coffee cup here. The one that keeps things warm. As it dips down into the 40s. I gotta.
It's a very fall shirt you got on there, sir.
Oh yeah, you like my orange flannels?
I do.
That's yeah. Right. Yeah, it's fall time. So, all right, let me talk really quickly. So, Liam commented in the comments section on PowerPrints. Do I have a finish date yet, Rob? Right, quote unquote. Any timeline on when everything will be done. Liam's a very patient backer. So, thanks, Liam. Do I have a timeline for when things are going to be done? Yeah, I do. I have not posted the timeline because this thing happened about a year ago, coming up on a year now, where I got offered to do some work on a video game that's coming out in just another week called Spyro Reignited. And I wasn't allowed to talk about the game a year ago. I just said, hey, some game work came along. I absolutely have to take this offer. It was something where I didn't even, like, Brandon, you know, like, imagine winning the lottery and you never played. You know, you're like, I won the lottery and I never even bought a ticket. So I didn't apply for these jobs. What I've been doing is posting my work for years. And a lot of this PowerPrints work and my Game Cave stuff found its way to the desk of game studios, because that's what happens. And these guys said, hey, he looks like he might be someone we'd like to work with, and they asked me if I would like to work with them. So they gave me a trial run. We're very happy with my work, and then we're off to the races. Now, the downside of that is I haven't got a lot of PowerPrints done this year. Can you believe that? I should be done. Matter of fact, if I didn't take the Spyro work, I would be done. And what I need you guys to know, my wife is downstairs studying for a test. Otherwise, I drag her up. The one time I bring her on camera, I'm this close to doing it, to have her explain to you guys how I came into the room at 1 o'clock in the morning telling her maybe I should turn it down or quit. Because this was in January. Because I knew, just based off the work I was doing, that this was going to stop me from finishing PowerPrints in the near future. You know? And she said, okay, you can do that, but you have to sleep on it. Like, that's the rule we have now in this house. We can make any crazy decision we want to make, but we have to go to sleep first. And if we still feel that passionate about it when we wake up, then there we go. And I woke up and I kept thinking, how dumb am I to quit this opportunity? Like for real, this would be incredibly stupid. Like, I got no choice, you know? I really believed in the project. It's a property I know and love. It's from the era that's the 90s, which is my era. The people working there are tremendously, I mean, I don't have enough adjectives for it, Brandon. They're very supportive. They're very awesome. And it's not forever work. I'm not a permanent employee. I'm a contract worker. So this work will come, it goes. Matter of fact, the Spyro work completed in July, actually in June, and then I started the Darksiders back up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this done. I had to go to E3, but I'll come back and wrap it up. And I came back from E3 to wrap it up, and that's when I started posting Darksiders work. And then they asked me to do one last piece for Spyro. And I have not mentioned this. I hadn't talked about it. All I started doing was I stopped working on all power prints. Remember that, Brandon, when I was posting all the Darksiders stuff? And there's all these. Right now on the YouTube channel, you can go to the 60-second podcast and see all of these 60-second podcasts I've made on the Darksiders. There's real-time videos right now on the YouTube channel here for Darksiders, but it stops around July, and there's a reason for it. I'm gonna show you all what transpired. So let's see here. Cinti. There we go. So this is the piece that they finally showed off over at Toys for Bob. And if you're wondering, is this official Spyro art? Let's go to the Toys for Bob official Twitter. And yes, it's right there, folks.
Woo woo.
So that's a nice little piece of promotion for me right there. Look at that.
That's the art piece that broke Rob's will.
Well, look. First off, careful, Brandon, because this can generate headlines we don't want, right?
I don't mean will. I meant
No. This art piece required all of my attention.
There you go.
Okay? Thank you. I'll fucking talk, Brandon. You wait until I ask you to say something. Shut up, taters. So, this required a tremendous amount of effort. Not because they were like, we want you to draw 1 million characters, and, you know, it's just because they saw the Game Cave stuff I'd been doing. Right? Let's go to the Power Prints work. So they saw stuff like the Final Fantasy, right? All these things they saw. The Final Fantasy, they saw the Game Informer cover that I did the year before. They saw some other stuff, and and we're like, hey, could you do something like that? But with the Spyro stuff, no plushies, just real characters, kind of do like a cool big lineup piece. And if you're wondering, Rob, who colored this? The answer is me. Let me put this up in the corner. Rob, who drew it? The answer is me. Rob, who did the production setup for the flats? Me. Who did the background, the painted digital background? Me. It required a lot of effort to do, folks.
Who was there for moral support? Me.
Yeah, Brandon heard about it. It took, to get it just right, required everything I've learned from this Power Prints when we started. I think the thing you guys should remember when I did the Kickstarters, I said with the stretch goals, two things. Like, I was trying to obviously get more people on board the Power Prints by doing a few more stretch goals than I should have. But two, I wanted to take on some pieces that I said, quote unquote, were going to change my career.
Yeah.
They were going to change my portfolio. They were going to change my career. That was the goal. And here we are, right? Like, this is the culmination of every little lasso tool, lighting effect, completely 100% digital piece, soft. If we zoom in here, soft. Look at that. Soft digi-painted background. That to get all these, like, the comic book line art, to get all, like, this is the sort of semi-lower res. Let me kind of back up to the high res. Let's do the high res. This is the high res, right? So you can come in here and see, like, every little bit. Little noise filters, glows, bounce lights, rims, texturing. Just every little thing. So it still had that 90s feel, but no one can be like, Rob went too far. So, and everything had to be figured out, folks. I mean, like, it is very complex.
Oh, yeah.
It's very complex.
You had to draw every character through, right? You couldn't just, like, piece a head here and a leg there. You're like, Didn't you draw most of these through?
The roughies mostly because they had to be moved around for approval. Like, and once we got things moved around, then it was like, oh, we could throw another character, and these characters should be lined up a certain way, and we wanted Spyro to be the focus, and so the feedback I got from my art director was fantastic.
Right.
Fantastic. Like, it was. I always said, Brandon, the problem I have here at Casa de Sketchcraft is I'm the only one I could really trust. Like, I don't trust you.
With artistic opinion.
There you go. When I want to, when I want to know what to get at the backyard taco, you don't like corn tortillas. I cannot.
I do not. I like flour, but that's just
a problem. It's a
upbringing.
problem I have with you. So, back to Spyro. Anyhow, the feedback they gave me was great. They gave me the time to do it, but it took a full month.
Right.
Folks,
And that's what I mean by broke your will. I meant you wanted to get this right. It wasn't like a piece where, you're doing it and you're okay with it. You wanted to make sure that everything was on point on this stuff. So it's you were really, hyper focused, and like you said, the guy, from everything you told me, working with him sounds like a dream job for what you're doing. It sounds awesome. I wish my art director, aka Rob, was as nice as
I'm not that nice. Like that, I would agree too. They make me want to be a better person, and around them I am, but with you, I don't know. So they don't have to deal with your complete lack of effort. So, yeah, and look, there's something else too. Like, there are parts of this piece where you're like, oh, that background's kind of simple. It's a reason. I could have overstuffed everything. Like, it had to meet a lot of requirements for openness and clarity and simplicity, but details, and so it's so many things, Brandon. It's so many things. I can very quickly, now you're probably wondering, why is this a PowerPrints blog if you're showing me a piece we can't buy? And that answer is because I can't ship this. Even if I wanted to, folks, on the PowerPrints, even if I wanted to be like, I'm going to kick you all one of these, I already shipped out most of them. Over half the PowerPrints is complete. There's just this 30% that have been holding on for dear, to get those final bits. And I just can't. So, be unfair to everyone else, and financially I cannot justify spending an extra $2-3 grand to print and ship a bunch of things, that my wife would just be looking at me like, no. So I already owe, when I say owe, all the money that I generate from Spyro is going to take care of Game Cave.
Yeah.
So imagine working for an entire year just to fucking undo the problems with another Kickstarter that someone caused me. So, and then you're like, but Rob, you caused your own problems on this one. I'm like, yeah, this one's on me, but we're all kind of guilty because you really shouldn't have let me pick so many stretch goals, people. And I've always told people too, you can pick the other prints. You know what I mean? Pick the other prints. I'll ship it today. So, but I know it's a dick move. So, at the end of the day, what am I doing to solve PowerPrints? I can actually show you. So, one of the things I've learned over the past 2.5 years of doing this was that what you see here with this Spyro piece is not feasible for every piece. So what happened was as I had gone through the PowerPrints, the Final Fantasy VII, the Battletoads, the Final Fantasy IXs, as I go through them, I'm tracking all the amount of effort, right? So we're looking at anywhere between 40 to 80 hours on some of these pieces. It's got to stop. It's not feasible for everyone, just from a mental standpoint. So I've been developing some ways of drawing that I called scribbly. And I showed you all, I think on the last time we did this. I don't rewatch these podcasts too often. But I do go back and re-listen to them, but then, it's about all I do. I did show you this Youngblood sketch I did. Where is it? Here. I call scribbly style. More it's this rougher way of drawing and then coloring over the scribbles. Let me blow this up like so. And so I said this is probably how I should do the remainder of the Darksiders, and then the X-Men and so forth, just to get everything done. Because I think it'll work for a whole piece. Well, I went and tested that theory on the new cover for Megavisions issue 7, which you can see here. And this is done in full scribbly. So you can kind of see it right there.
Ooh.
So what do you think about this scribble style, Brandon?
I love it. I love it so much. That Burning Rangers piece is one of my favorite things you've done. Just because, like, I like it when artists will leave lines in, or like, like the original lines where, like, if I get a con sketch or something and the people, they draw it, then they ink and they color it, but they don't erase the lines. I love it when they pop through and you see it in certain areas. Those flames are ridiculous. Like, those are just dope. And with that new worn, gritty kind of overlay you have going on now with your pieces, like, it just fits everything so nicely. Yeah,
I make all my stuff look old now because I'm old and my art looks old, so that's how it's gonna work.
But yeah, like this piece right here is like awesome to me.
And it's like, gee, Rob, how long did this take you to draw? It took about 4 or 5 hours, and then I think about 5.5. Okay, let's say 6. Let's round it. To draw this entire piece took 6 hours. Before, it would have taken me 12 to 18 because it's just not that complete. And then the coloring took about 2 hours to set up and another 2 hours, so about 4 hours of coloring. That's incredibly efficient compared to what I was doing before on even, well, that's not a Power Prints piece, but what is a Power Prints piece? Compared to, say, the Final Fantasy IX, which just took like 80 hours. You know? And you can say, well, it's more characters. I'm like, yeah, but to do all the roughs, print it out, manually draw it, scan it back in, clean it up, do all the flats, do all the color. It's not enough effort for that's noticeable. Can you really tell the difference that I did all that much effort in between the two?
No. Not for the normal person.
Not for the normal person, you know? And this, it's not like these pieces are winning me fucking awards. It's not like I'm doing these pieces and it's like, gee, Rob, you know? The only thing that it's doing is keeping Power Prints from being done. That's what's really happening, folks. And so what I've been doing with my freelance work is testing all these tools to get work done, not just faster, but if it will please an art studio where people are cutting checks, and then I know it will please you people. And so I brought it back into the Megavision, which is freelance work, and then I also did a test here. Let me bring this up. So this is the actual cover art for Megavisions issue 7, which I've dropped. You can see, I actually dropped this in here, but this is an ad I did, and these are some characters I made up, the mascots for the book. And these are drawn in Scribbly style. Each one of these characters was drawn in about 30-40 minutes. You know, and plus I had to figure out what they look like, so that part included, so it really wasn't that long. And then clean them up, and these backgrounds are, this background right here is actually a bunch of scribbles that I just used a mixer brush to clean up, and I can show you what that looks like. Like, look at that. That's actually what I blocked in, just blobs of stuff, how I do it. And then mixer brush right on top, and got that finished. Why did it reset my settings? It reset my settings. So, yeah. And then what I've been doing, too, while all this is going through, is I have a feeling it reset my fucking preferences. When I restart.
It only happens when we're live, you know? Everything goes off the rails when we're live.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Like, look, I can't even pick a new workspace. Like, it should let me pick Rob Space 2019. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, see, it deleted all my preferences. That's wonderful. Luckily, I save everything, so I got to go back in here. Thanks, Photoshop, for deleting my preferences while I work. Let me go here, load. I keep Why did it not load?
Yes, folks. This usually happens whenever me and Rob go, we're going to show you something, how something works, and then the computer will be like, nope, or it won't be able to find. Like,
Yeah, it
if we're
completely
working on
reset
live.
everything and it fucking rearranged all my shit. So
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, Photoshop deleted all my preferences and I have to go and fix. I just got all this shit fixed.
You spent some time on that too.
It's just I just got to rearrange. I don't know why the tool presets rearranges into any. That's odd. It rearranged my tool presets. So anyhow, I will fix that. Anyhow, I made these tool presets, so these are based on how I do all my art now. So it's not a big deal in terms of like how I work. So everything is this right here. Threw off my whole fucking game. That fucking thing. I'm looking too, like all my color palettes have been completely deleted. You know, this was something I ran into last week where Photoshop was doing this thing where it was what's the word I'm thinking of? It was crashing when I would load up a plugin. And so I had to go and fix all that. There we go. There's on my, so I can, at least that's there. This is just a matter of going to see, folks. This is one of the things too. When you're a freelance illustrator, you have to fucking sit here and do all this stupid shit yourself, like troubleshooting. You know, when you're like, oh, all my shit's broke. You know,
Right.
You know, I have to go through here and manually fucking fix all this stuff. And I don't know why that grass is the zoom tool, not the actual grass tool. So that really fucking annoys me to no end. Sometimes there's this error that when I'm saving a tool preset, even though I have, see, like this shrub was a brush, but even though I had the brush selected when I created the tool preset, it still made it an eraser. Like it's one of these things where I'm trying to figure out what's causing it, other than it's just a fucking nightmare scenario. So I will have to fix that later. So one of many things, folks. One of the many things that I'm over here just dealing with to no end. That's going to eat up an hour of my time. So what's the plan? The plan is I am currently finishing up a deadline at work right now. I can't show you the work because I'm under strict NDA and I don't want Activision getting mad, right? So I can never do that. That gets done. I have to finish this Megavision stuff and get that out the door sometime Wednesday or Thursday. And I don't do Megavisions again until January. How it's going to work for the next year is I have set production dates for Megavisions. So the month of January, then it goes 2 months, then another that month, February, March, so then April, May, June, and then July. 4 times a year, there's going to be a month where all I'm doing is Megavisions, and if I have freelance work, the freelance work. If I don't have freelance work with the game studio, then I'll be working on power prints. If I do have freelance work, then that month, no power prints. The minute I'm done with Megavisions, I go back to power prints until it's done, and then I got to go do Game Cave. That's the plan. That's always been the plan. So when people ask me, Rob, do you have a timeline? I do, but it ain't coming out before Christmas. That's what you're wondering.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. You know, I tried for a couple months between August and September to do a little bit every day. Like I'll work on this the Monday and Wednesday, and I'll work on this over here. And what happens is I'm not mentally checked into that piece of art. I can't jump between 3 or 4 different pieces simultaneously.
Right.
I just can't. So I don't have it in me. So what I've had to do is I can only do 2 things at any given time. So if I have a contract, right now my contract runs through January, if they don't re-up the contract because they're done, then I'm free to work on power prints in that time. If they do re-up the contract, then that means I'm doing power prints, and then when I'm done with power prints, then I can go do Game Cave. I mean, that the Game Cave people were wondering, how long is it going to be, Rob? And I'm like, I can't focus on this. So for me, the immediate thing is work. The second thing is power prints. And then Megavision's 4 times a year because I'm doing all the art direction on that and the cover art. Because I'm stupid. Yes. I don't know, man. I sign up for fucking things. I believe in this game magazine. I think it can work. I just don't know how.
Right.
And then after that, Game Cave. So that's it. What I've promised since then is if anybody wants to just pick the prints that are always done, that are already complete, I will ship it to you, no problem. I got a guy now that just did it. I'm shipping him stuff this week, so it's no big deal. If I've also promised that I will not do any more Kickstarters until these are done. And have I, Brandon?
No.
Have I done any? Nothing. So I'm not like inventing more Kickstarters. I'm not creating more of that. I've actually had to turn down work because I'm like, I'm never going to get power prints done. So I got IDW hit me up and a few other comic book publishers to do stuff. And I'm like, I can't. I got enough, I'm also... There's 2 prints. There's the Deadpool, and then there's the Power Rangers prints. I was never happy with the layouts that I did for the Kickstarter. So I'm going to be changing those layouts, and they're going to be very different. They're going to be more storytelling pieces. I'll show you guys more what I mean later. But the idea that I'm thinking about is like kind of like we have like a central graphic, and then you have some comic book panels kind of telling a story in a fun way, not a serious way, like a fun piece. So this idea with Deadpool is I had like Deadpool versus X-Force versus Liefeld. Kind of set it up like a little stage or something. So something more fun, kind of like a comic strip. And the reason why is as I move toward Game Cave, once I get to the Game Cave, I'm full-blown just doing my own comics. And then the only fan art I'm going to be doing are either sketches or the cover arts for Megavisions, unless I feel like doing something. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be the commissions is where I'm doing fan art or little scribble digital sketches or something. I'm not doing these pin-up things unless it's for Megavisions or something. So, matter of fact, I'm the things that involve like 600 plushies and controllers, I'm not doing any more unless a publisher is willing to pay me a tremendous amount of money to do it because I don't have the 100 hours to invest in those pieces anymore. I don't. I want to get on with time. I actually started all this in 2006, Brandon, believe it or not, to draw comics. If you can believe that. And somehow I ended up here. So, anyhow, but Brandon, you may or may not have seen some of this storytelling art that I'm talking about, right?
Possibly.
You may have been in the studio and glanced from here and there.
Uh-huh.
And if you have, can you speak to some of the stuff I'm talking about? Like
it is very fun and energetic, and has a very cool way of storytelling compared to basic storytelling that I've seen in comic book approach, video game stuff. So it's fun, it's different, but it's not for a lack of time spent on it or effort. So it's still going to look like good Rob art. It's just something different, just like everything evolves. Like you've tried watercolors, the saucies that turned into better watercolor saucies, that you've done Copic that turned into better colored pencil commission. So it's just another step in what you're trying to do with your art and storytelling. So
and it's efficient. You see me draw a lot of it, in a short amount of time. So there's at some point I'm going to hit this point pretty quickly where I can't move any faster. I'm going to hit peak. Like right now with coloring, I've peaked. I can't to set things up and get them colored. I can accurately guess every time how long it's going to take me. I can't move any faster. I wouldn't want to because there is a level of self-editing that occurs. In terms of the drawing with the scribblies, it's much more like accurate. If I think something might take me an hour, if I'm over, it's over by like 30 minutes, not 3 hours.
Right.
So it's it's getting more and more acceptable. With the Darksiders piece, I'm gonna wrap up the death. So what I gotta do is here's the plan. So I got this deadline. I push Megavisions out. I have to finish that Sonic commission. Okay, I have no choice, folks. I have a backer who paid for that, and he needs it. So I'll do that. When that's done, then I'm on Darksiders until I'm back on Megavisions. I anticipate somewhere right after Thanksgiving, right, or the first week of December. And then I'm going to draw that as scribbly as I can possibly get, so long as it's still consistent. I want to make sure it's consistent. But if you look at the Megavisions cover, it's going to be colored similar to that, like soft gradients, a little bit of cell shade, glows. I'm going to follow the same guide I made. It's just I'm not going to spend 12 hours over rendering, when I know I can do a 3-hour version that is very acceptable. So there we go. Brandon, do we have any questions or comments?
Nope.
No.
There is nothing in the chat tonight.
No. Well, there probably won't be because YouTube, ever since I did that 2 weeks of not streaming, they unsubscribed everyone from the bells.
Yeah.
So no one gets any updates when I stream anymore. That's why I told you, I had a feeling they would do that, but I don't care anymore,
Yeah.
Do you personally have any comments? Anything you'd like to add to the conversation?
I just, one, I would think that, so let me get this straight. If people want to pick people that already are part of the Power Prints, if they want to pick prints that you've already done or made, they can pick out from those and get those sent to them?
From the Power Prints. I can't be handing out prints from things that...
Okay, that's what I wasn't sure about.
Yeah, because it's just unfair to the other people who already picked up stuff.
Right. Okay. So that's the part I wasn't sure about, and I didn't want to...
And just send me a note personally, folks, and I can get that all arranged. If you want to wait, you can wait. I don't know what else to say. This is going to be the same story when we do this a month from now and the month after that. Well, it won't be. I mean, the story will be the same. The work getting done will be what it is. But this is working. It's just I can't make it work any faster. I can't. Like this Megavisions thing took 3 months to figure out a production process that I can get a whole crew on board with. Like I just finally got everyone on board on how to do this. And so now I have to kick it out the door. And that's any bit of free time I have that isn't my freelance work. And then we have home, and I still haven't unpacked my studio. I haven't walked you guys into around the door. That place is tore up. My packing station, like when it comes time to let's say I get done with the Darksiders and all this stuff and no one wants their shit until I'm done. And then I got like 40 people who all need their stuff, that station over there is not set up for that. So that's a whole nother, it's probably a full week's worth of effort to get that station on the other side of the wall completely set up. So I've just been this year has been I haven't really talked about it because I never want it to sound like complaining, but it's very much like going back to school in a way, So everything I'm doing at work is constantly new. Like that Spyro piece, that big piece is just the last thing I did. There's tons of character stuff I did before that, and they needed designs for elements and accessories and clothing stuff and concepts for things, and none of that I can talk about or show because that's life as a professional. You can't. So when I'm not streaming or doing anything, it's not because I'm over here playing Dragon Quest XI as much as I wish I were. It's because I'm working on their stuff, and it just until for all I know, folks, this Spyro thing and whatever else I may or may not be doing for them or for someone else, it may be the last thing I ever get to do game-wise. Like this may be it. Like this could be, Rob, you had that chance. I worked on the Spyro. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not actively pursuing, I gotta get into games now and I gotta hustle. No, these are opportunities with the right people, with the right projects. And
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say I mean, I'm not at your nowhere near your level, but with art, there's nothing guaranteed. There's no, I mean, look at all the studios that close after making hits. You know, art studios, games. There's so many artists out there and so many people doing these jobs that if you get a chance when someone asks you to do something, especially since like Rob didn't even apply, they just said, "Hey, I saw this, I
Won the
liked it."
lotto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So he had a chance to do it. I mean, I had a chance to come work at the studio Rob was working at. I wasn't ready for it.
T-shirt studio.
And yeah, the t-shirt studio, and that it just didn't work out. There's times where you'll get these chances and you just got to take them, you know, and if it works out, it does. If it doesn't, you move on. I
What?
moved to California to do a job for a week. Turns out I couldn't do it. I had to move back. It's just you take these chances that aren't.
And me not being able to do this job is like, well, maybe I'll find out I can't do it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's required a lot of effort, but at the same time, the people I've worked with, it's just making connections, you know? Like you want to be a guy who they go to for stuff. And when they're like, when they come to me and say, hey, we want you to draw all our characters in this giant piece and we're going to use this for promotion, and it's the piece that's repping their fucking game, that's a lot of pressure, folks. Think about the pressure to get it right. And I am not the most talented person. I cannot stress this. I am not the most talented person on their team. I'm not even in the top 5. They got Nicholas Cole. They got a bunch of other guys. That, you know, Jeremy and Nicole, the guy from Montcalm. The people that I was like, oh, those guys are amazing. And then why am I here? Jeremy Enos, Ryan. There's so many people. I only know their code names when we're in our Slack. So, you know what I mean? They don't always have their full name in there, you know. So,
Yeah.
but I'm not. So when, you know, the people at top are like, well, we believe in you. And then I'm like, shit, someone believes in me. This is not good. You know, like I have to, you know? So, you know, I've said this a million times. I wish I had more talent and this would all go easier, you know, but I have to really grind it out, you know? It takes a lot of effort. So what I've been doing in the meantime is finding ways to not overdo it so you guys don't have to wait me getting 20 to 30 hours of effort when I could have got a version that's 12 hours in that is perfectly acceptable. But in order to do that, I had to retrain my brain over this year to see my art differently, to undo certain things. Because what can happen is Brandon, you ever work at like a certain resolution, and then when you're not working at that resolution, you're like, it's wrong, it doesn't look right.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so when I first started drawing digitally, I was drawing at 600 DPI. You know? So we're talking about like 8,000 by like 12,000 pixel wide images. And now I do like 2,000 by 3,000 pixels wide. You know? It's getting things... A lot of things getting done a lot quicker. And then I also, with my coloring, I had to go and rethink my whole coloring from the ground up. Just my thought process on it. How I'm executing this. What I can do, you know. And so the Megavisions cover is the first real execution of that, you know, on a bigger scale. And so I would say that it's a success. But it doesn't change the fact that nothing's done, you know, like I started the year with just the Darksiders to get started and I'm still not through it, you know, to the frustration of the Darksiders people, because their fan community, their PR person saw my stuff and was like, we would love to have your stuff, and you know, but it's not done, you know. I'm like, sorry, I'm just been doing other things, you know.
Yeah.
So they would have loved to promote that art, but you know. Anyhow, I think I've gone over this enough. Am I missing anything, Brandon?
I think we covered all bases on this one.
So I did give a plan though, right?
Yeah. Indeed.
Okay. So somewhere right after Thanksgiving or the first week of December, I anticipate starting Darksiders. And that's 4 to 5 hours during the day, each day. Probably closer to the 4 hour mark. Sometimes I have some leeway. And then on the weekend, an additional 6 hours. Or 6 to 12 hours, depending on if I do anything. Sometimes on a Saturday, folks, my wife and I, we have a date. I have like a Moscow Mule, and I ain't drawing for shit. So I'm a lightweight, Brandon. One drink, and I fall right over. But that's 20 hours plus weekends. 20 to 30 hours a week will get me to whatever I need to do, you know?
Yeah.
Considering that cover took maybe 12 hours to do from start to finish, I'm anticipating, and with the scribbly style, folks, I gotta tell you, man, with that X-Men, let's go look at the X-Men piece really. This I do want to talk about because this actually scared me when I first sketched it. Let me bring it up. The Age of Apocalypse, Ruffy. So when we were first laying all this stuff out, well, that's just plumb dandy. There's all my Ruffies, but the X-Men one ain't. Isn't it fun when I don't put them all in the featured gallery?
Right.
Let's see if it's X or X-Men. There we go. All right, let me bring this up. There. So this Ruffy, super blobby Ruffy, when I first blobbed that in there, I was like, it's going to be a lot of effort. Like, now I'm like, not as much as you'd think. Same with the soft shading and, matter of fact, I would say if you look at this core concept of the way this is rendered, and you look at the Burning Rangers, you can kind of see the template 2 years ago. You kind of get the same vibe,
Right, where you were going with it.
Yeah, same with this like Age of Apocalypse piece. This thing with Apocalypse is going to be back here, and these Sentinels and these little things, and like this whole. I was like, man, this is going to be a fucking nightmare to set up. Now I don't feel so much. It'll be a nightmare to set up. What's up?
When you finish that, I'm definitely putting that on my wall. I love Age of Apocalypse.
But it's going to be more scribbly, So by scribbly, I mean somewhere around this. Sometimes it'll be more like these little figures, more rougher, these more construction-y. Some of the characters that need a little bit more work will be like her. See his hand isn't perfectly drawn. So, but once you color it all up, it works together. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. And then when we get to the Power Rangers, like I said, the Power Rangers, that's going away in its current form. I was never fully on board with this particular layout, so I'm going to do something a lot more fun than this. Interesting though, looking at the Final Fantasy VI and the Kingdom Hearts, because these were almost to where I do scribblies. Now, like, this needs one more pass and it's good to go. So this and the Kingdom Hearts, this is going to be pretty easy to do, because I'm just going to take these rough lines, turn the opacity down, and just go right over and draw this whole thing as is. So I anticipate this being, to draw this, probably about 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe. And then 2 to 4 hours to get the coloring set up, and then half that time to do all the glows and stuff. So these two are going to be pretty manageable. Probably a full week's worth of effort for each one. But you could see how I got better. Like when it started with this is where my roughies were when we started this thing, and by the end I was like doing this. And now I'm taking at this level and getting to here. So that's 2.5 years of just sticking with this, folks. But I'm definitely, I am sorry you've all had to wait this long. I cannot stress to you that at night there are times I have anxiety attacks because nothing's getting done. Seriously, I don't talk about it, but it happens. It's like that scene in Star Wars when Han Solo, The Empire Strikes Back, where he says, "Yeah, it's not easy living with a bounty over your head or being a marked man." Like, it feels like I got bounties on my head. Like, it feels. It's not that way, but that's what it feels like. You know. So, it's hard to be creative sometimes. It's hard, right? But I did it to myself. All I can do is apologize. I'm seriously sorry. If I could go back and not do this version of PowerPrints, or at least stop it at, right before the Darksiders part, I'd probably stop it. But kind of do. I took on 40 stretch goals. So stupid. It's an incredibly stupid thing for me to do. And I could say stupid because it's me I'm talking about. So, not the smartest of moves. What's the plan this year? Finish PowerPrints, then finish Game Cave, and then I get my life back. And hopefully there's still a country and an Earth, around to survive it. So, all right, Brandon. Do you have a problem, Brandon, when I make you come on here and be like my voice of authenticity? Like,
no.
Are you a shill for Sketchcraft? Is that
no? Because I keep it real. I say it how it is. Working with you is like working with an artistic dictator. I mean, everything Rob helps me with, it's for the betterment of me, but he doesn't go easy on me ever. So if you think he's hard on me, because people have said that before on the cast, just imagine how hard he is on himself when he's alone in his room at like 4 a.m. and I'm not on the other end of bitch at, because I usually go to bed because I got a day job. So I'm not just the voice of reason. I keep it real. Like I'm not gonna be like, Rob, you're the greatest ever. And there's been times where you've drawn something and I've pointed out some fucked up shit on it, and I kept it real. There's not, So I'm the voice of reason, but I'm also the voice of honesty too. Like, I don't just kiss your ass. So, there's times where I'm like, Rob, that don't look right. Or, hey, you gonna redo that one? So, yeah. I hope that answers your question, sir.
My wife's heard me yelling at myself at times. I put on the editor cap, and it's like, "What are you doing, Rob? What's the point of this? You just want to? This is your life now? PowerPrints forever? You just get to endlessly fucking stare at the same piece of art for 6 years." But truth be told, folks, like I lost my entire career because of that Avengers Kickstarter, and from that Avengers Kickstarter to this version of PowerPrints, I thought when I did this, I kind of didn't want to do the PowerPrints. My wife's like, "You got to bring some money in or go get a job," and I'm like, "Well, I'd rather do the PowerPrints than go get a job." So, and then when I did the PowerPrints, I thought this is going to be a tough year, but this will keep me busy for a year, which should be enough time to blow over. One, I'll have all this great art so I can go and pitch new jobs, and if enough time should have passed, I should be able to get my old job back somewhere else. And then my mom died, and then my dad died, and that changed everything. The 1-2 punch, So here we are. The benefit to all this is if I didn't do this and it didn't happen in this exact order, then I would not have arrived at the way I'm creating now. And I've not been more happy with my art. I have to be. You got to know this. The folks who've stuck around for 49 minutes of me explaining this fucking PowerPrints, you have to understand. I haven't been this happy with my art since 2005 or 6. And I'm not saying that I drew well back then. I'm just saying that was the last time I was doing things that I felt were representative of myself. Before I started pitching to publishers and working with studios and constantly changing how I draw things, changing how I think, changing, everything to attain some level of credibility. Before all that, there was this artist. Fuck 2006, let's say 2001, before I went to art school, and there was that dream of, how you the kinds of things you want to make, the kinds of things that inspire you, the things that you think about, oh, I want to do this, I want to make this comic and do this. Before I got into a system that said that will never work, it will never sell, you need to get a job, you have student loans to pay off, and you start compromising a lot of different things to make that happen. Because you do. The minute you get into art school, you owe money. And the minute you're owing money, you're trying to find the ways to make that money back.
Yeah.
You know, and that has compromised a lot of my personal creativity for almost, how many years has it been since 2001? It's 2018. That's almost 20 years, folks. What if I'm not alive in 20 years?
I'll take over.
That will never happen. I don't think you could take over just publishing thumbnails. You fuck those up half the time, too. So, like, you know, like, I want nothing more than to be done with the power prints so that I can only do the things that I absolutely love doing. So at this point, I'm finishing up what I started. And a couple of things I'll modify to make it more interesting for me to do, like the Deadpool and the Power Rangers piece, because I want to make it more interesting for me. But I don't have a tremendous love of drawing these pinups. You know? I don't. I feel like, okay, they've served their purpose, but I need to finish. So that is the goal. Past that, I don't know. You know, I'm going to just be focusing on my own comics and this game magazine stuff and whatever freelance comes around. Because I just don't think I'm that good enough an artist to gain the attention for... Like you know when you see like a Mark Brooks piece these days, Brandon, it's going to get a lot of attention because he's a fantastic illustrator. I'm not that dude. You know, I'm not Chamba. You know, I'm not fucking Sean Galloway, dude. I'm just, these people are just tremendous illustrators, and I make this sort of rinky-dink goofy shit. So I'd at least rather my rinky-dink goofy shit be representative of how I think than me trying to, you know, attain some level of notoriety for whatever reason. So it's been working well, but, you know, that's just the personal, that's the God's honest truth of it, you know. And all the efficiencies of drawing have just been a way to get to that quicker. So storytelling is where my true love is. God, I cannot believe how bad an experience art school was on me. You know? Brandon, it really... It's the only thing in my life, if I could go back and take back, you know? Like, it's the only thing. I mean, a lot of weird shit's happened in my life, but that art school I just think was a colossal mistake. So, whatever. A little bit of truth time. 53 minutes. I think that's it. Not one person in the chat room, right?
Not one. I got it on live chat, and I don't see anybody.
So, I told you what happened was we didn't stream for... Matter of fact, during the Spyro piece, I didn't stream, so it was a month. The Spyro piece, I didn't stream for a month. And what YouTube does is when you don't stream that long, they turn off the notification bells. So you got to go back in there and click it so it's on the ringy. It turns that off. So all of my followers, Brandon, they don't get any of the updates now when we post it.
Right.
0. So the only thing I can do about that is not care. Nothing I can do about it. It's the way it works. All right, everybody. We're out of here. Thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you all soon. I'll have updates on Power Print starting the first week of December. Until then, unless you want to flip out your prints, please, 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 just let me get my work done. Okay? Please. That's all I ask. And then I promise you, I will latch on and finish this fucking shit. And the day it's done, that will be the day I'll take the video of me outside going, it's done! You know, and then we're out of here. So.
Yes.
All right, Brandon. We'll talk to you later. Everybody say goodbye, Brandon. Say goodbye.
Bye, all my taters.
And then I retire Power Prints forever, and I never have to say the word ever again. All right, Brandon?
Indeed.